Behind an innocent and mystical facade and deceptively simple gameplay, Nights into Dreams is a very challenging, creative, and unique game. As humans' dreams, their dreams are played out in the lands of Nightopia and Nightmare, the two parts of the dream world. In their dreams, dreamers are represented by luminous colored spheres known as Idea. The evil ruler of Nightmare wants to take over Nightopia and eventually the real world, so he creates two flight-capable, jester-like beings called Realia and Nights. Of the two, Nights rebels against this plan and joins the dream worlds of a young boy, Elliot Edwards, and a young girl, Claire Sinclair. Together, the three begin a mystical journey to restore peace to Nightopia. Hi guys, and welcome to Summer of Sega Episode 4 and my review of Nights into Dreams. This is the not-for-resale packaging here. This is the one that came bundled with the Saturn 3D controller, which if you've watched my past episodes you know is one of my top 5 controllers of all time. Nights into Dreams was made by Sonic Team and was sort of not necessarily a replacement for Sonic on the Saturn, but Saturn was something where Sega really did a lot of experimentation with their franchises and went beyond and created a lot of new IPs. And Nights was kind of the new mascot alongside Sonic for the Saturn, and Saturn didn't really get a true Sonic game. There wasn't another one until Sonic Adventure on the Dreamcast. Instead, we got Nights into Dreams, and honestly, it's for the better. Nights is one of the best sort of platforming games I've ever played. In Nights into Dreams, you travel as Night through 7 very distinct levels that have these masterfully laid out plans along a semi-linear path where you have a lot of choice in your up and down motion and your flight as you circle items to collect them, and your speed and rotation. There's beautiful pastels and a lot of really just pretty effects. It's a very beautiful game. It has something that has a really nice sort of jazzy soundtrack that I really like. Nights is all about style. It's all about that very fluid aerial flight. You can play Nights with a regular controller, but using the new sort of analog stick here for the 3D controller is really what it was meant for. It was a game that was designed to really push the 3D controller and to really show that the Saturn was not just the 2D beast that it was originally created to be. It really could handle 3D environments. And using the 3D controller to control Nights provides this really smooth experience. There's just absolutely no jarring, there's no lag. It has this very smooth frame rate. I mean, especially for the time, this is something where there's no experience as uplifting as just flying around in a level in Nights into Dreams with the beautiful music and the wonderful, very creative visuals. It's something that really does look like it came out of a child's dream. And the levels, again, are very distinct. They're all very different in not just their presentation, but the music really matches, and you have a whole new color scheme for each new environment that still fits into the overall style of the game. Nights is a very just enigmatic creature, something that is, again, kind of this non-gendered, just beautiful dreamlike being existing in this dreamlike world that has a very solid sort of childhood imaginative feeling to it that not a lot of games could capture. And while there are a lot of creative mascots from the 5th gen, something where like Crash has a really great personality, very humorous tone to it. Again, you have a little bit with Sonic. There wasn't really a true Sonic game, but you have different things like Spyro coming up, of course, new Marios. When it comes down to it, though, Nights for me is the most fascinating mascot of that era. And I actually will go as far as to saying that Nights into Dreams, if you have not tried, I would actually say that Nights into Dreams for that generation is the best platformer, even better than Mario 64. I will go out and say that Nights into Dreams is an absolute classic. It's one of the best games I've ever played. Going through each level requires multiple playthroughs. It's something where, yeah, there are only 7 levels, but the levels are really vast, and you have to play through them many times to truly master them. And each way, it's a fairly linear path, but there are slight differences, and there's different sort of ways you can approach each level and focus on different things, focusing on trying to get a really high score or really improving your time to get a higher grade at the end of each level. You have to obtain a higher level grade on every single one with the boy and with the girl character on either side to access the final level. And after each segment, after each world of the 7 levels, you'll get a really interesting boss fight that presents a completely new challenge. It's nothing like anything that was in the individual levels. It's something where you have to play them sometimes a couple times to really figure out what exactly you're supposed to do. And these are some of the most creative and imaginative boss fights I've ever seen in any game. It's a very beautiful game. It controls perfectly the just feeling of floating through the air very smoothly as knights and going through these just gorgeous levels, and collecting everything is a lot of fun, and learning tricks of being able to just float around in a giant circle around a cluster of items and having them sort of gather together and fly into you rather than trying to go through them individually. Going through all the loops, it just has this sensation of flying that I feel not a lot of games have even captured till today. It really is a game that gives you that feeling like you are in a dreamlike world. It's an absolute classic, one of the best games on the Sega Saturn, and I was very lucky that it's one of the first games I was able to play on the system. It's a must-have game that you have to check out. The only real flaw I can find in Nights into Dreams is its challenge. I really do enjoy the fact that it's a challenging game, and it's not overly challenging, just something that makes you work at it and repeat stages and really get to enjoy and really get down the basics of the game, and eventually move on to more advanced maneuvers that really just bring out new aspects and new pathways in between each level. But I do wish, considering its beautiful pacing, its wonderful music, the visuals, and just sort of that nice, almost calming feeling of flying, I do wish that there was an easy mode, not for ease of actually beating the game, but so that when you're not quite into a challenge, you can just go into easy mode and fly around at your leisure and just sort of have fun and look at it and really admire it. Sometimes when you're really getting into the more challenging stages, you can't really take the time to necessarily enjoy the visuals because you're so busy flying around at such high speeds.